Goes back to the Korean War. For the Chinese, it's very simple. If negotiations can work, then negotiate. If not, then fight. If business deals can't be made, that's unacceptable. If it comes to fighting, they'll fight. It's not like they haven't done it before. After all, China has fought before, even when the power gap was at its greatest and China won. That's the foundation of Chinese confidence. Hello, I'm Jeffrey, and welcome to Just Spit Out, as today, April 18th, 2025. I want to talk about what gives China the confidence to stand firm against America. Despite the criticism of Trump's unreliability over the past few days, if he were to lift or reduce tariffs soon, the market would quickly bounce back. What does this show? It's about creating leverage from nothing, playing a high-stakes game. Whether the market collapses afterward or if this is just a one-time shock depends largely on whether America has any more powerful moves left. As things stand, Trump has not yet secured an overwhelming victory domestically, nor has he achieved his intended goals in the Russia-Ukraine ceasefire talks. In the short term, America doesn't have the conditions to escalate conflict further. Therefore, the market's short-term turmoil seems like a one-off, a full release of risk expectations due to uncertainty. This global market slump has caused panic for many, but honestly, if Chinese people were to step out and observe, they would see that in reality, everyday life in China hasn't been severely affected. This is different from what's happening in America. In America, the financial market plays a core role in resource allocation across the economy and society. This is a big difference from China's economic model. For China, as the world's largest industrial nation with immense production capacity, there's strong support for people's livelihoods. For individuals, as long as they live within their means in terms of consumption and investment, avoiding excessive leverage, there's not much risk. The biggest support comes from the Chinese people themselves. They live in China, and that's the foundation of their economic security. The emphasis is on collectivism, meaning the collective supports individuals. Meanwhile, America is rooted in individualism, where each person is responsible for themselves. Even if tariffs cause inflation to worsen, the people have to save themselves. America already went through this test with the pandemic. Even when things go south, the average American accepts it and doesn't blame it on the economic or social structure. This is why Trump has been so aggressive with tariffs, because he knows there's a 3 to 6 month grace period, and he can always lift tariffs later. That's not difficult for him. For China, however, it's crucial to demonstrate the country's resolve and will. America needs to be made to take China seriously, or else this situation will drag on endlessly. After China's retaliation, Trump threatened that if China didn't lift its countermeasures, he would add another 50% tariff, bringing the total tariff to over 100%. Though what's the real difference between tariffs over 50% or 100%? Some people in China are habitually eager to compromise when faced with America market accounts for less than 15% of China's exports, yet some act as if the sky is falling. In reality, 85% of China's foreign trade is unaffected. These people fail to consider that if China compromises under U.S. tariff pressure, fighting for just that 15%, the likely outcome is that China will lose the remaining 85%. If China makes such a concession, America will inevitably use the same tactics to pressure other countries, forcing them to choose sides between China and America. In that case, China will not only lose American market, but also the markets of other countries. China's decision to stand up to America directly is meant to set an example for other nations, encouraging them to also take a stand when their own interests are at risk. Only by doing so can America be isolated. Otherwise, America will break China down piece by piece, and in the end, it will be China that ends up isolated. Meanwhile, Trump has said that if Europe buys $350 billion in U.S. energy, he would consider lowering tariffs. This shows that Trump's tariff increases are not for some other reason, but are a bargaining chip for negotiations with different countries aiming to defeat them one by one. This is why Trump is so angry at China's retaliation. It essentially cuts off his bargaining position. By retaliating without even talking, China has completely outmaneuvered him. The main reason for this, when you get to the heart of it, goes back to the Korean War. For the Chinese, it's quite simple. If negotiations work, fine. If not, they'll fight. If business deals can't be made, that's unacceptable. If they need to fight, they'll do it. They've done it before. When you break it down, it's really just that simple. China has fought before, even when the power gap was at its widest and China won. That's what gives the Chinese the greatest confidence.